Hey guys, TexAgs Radio with the Clapper, Richard Zane, Meredith in the house as well. Our first Monday after a game, guys, and we're a moody group, aren't we? I'm not meaning us, but just like I think people wanted to win by 100. We won by 31.
We covered.
That's
all that matters. That's all they ask.
Well, I just want blowouts in a national championship. All right, so on the show today, obviously happy Labor Day to everyone. We had the Go Hour. We broke down our thoughts. OB and I did on the A&M Kent State game. Liucci brought down his thoughts as well. He joined us from 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock. Lots from Liucci all over the place. We even talked a little bit about some of the other games out there. And the SEC Network's Peter Burns, who is sponsored by
Blue Delta Jeans.
This guy's good. It's TexAgs Rewind.
You beat Kent State by, like you said, 31 points, so you covered. So everybody that bet on the Aggies got paid. You know, that's a good thing, even though the coach from Kent State was doing everything to make sure his guys got paid.
That was funny.
You know, you have a guy starting his very first collegiate game, and I don't know if all three of his interceptions were on him. But what I'm interested in, sometimes a defensive player makes a really good play. Sometimes an offensive player tips a ball. Yeah. But I think that Jimbo Fisher was very encouraged because, as he said in the post game, we got to clean up the interceptions. We got to do some things better. But Haynes King was throwing where he was supposed to throw.
Yeah.
And so that's the hardest thing for a new quarterback to do. Understand where to go with the ball, read the defense.
By the way, this is TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. And we'll get to your phone calls and your text messages. The BCSI hotline number is 979-693-1150, or you can text in the show 979-693-1150. That is on the AMB text line. So we have learned throughout the years to not grade after 1 week.
Well, last year would be a perfect example.
And you could say that in years past too, but last year absolutely against Vandy, the sky was falling. But they still were able to rattle off a Orange Bowl victory, a top 5 finish, and here we are with the exact same aspirations, even further. And here's where I am excited. There will be changes. There's going to be corrections. There will be more. And one of the things that people love to point at is how many rushing yards the Aggies were able to give up, or did give up. That's without Michael Clemens out there, without McKinley Jackson, and to a certain extent, even though it's in the secondary, Miles Jones is not out there.
Miles Jones is physical corner.
So almost 30% of your go-to guys aren't out there against a team that I believe, if you look at how they prepared, they were going to stop the pass. And pretty and large, they stopped the pass, so Kent State had to run the ball. And they got to clean up some things. There's no doubt about that. But I am not over. Now, this weekend against Colorado, I might get a little concerned if we see it again.
A lot of the yardage was by the quarterback and scrambles. They've got to do better than that. You can say, well, yeah, but it was the quarterback scramble, but they still gave it up.
It still counts.
So I liked what Leon O'Neill said. It's unacceptable. We'll take care of it. I don't know. I do think you missed Buddy Johnson.
Yeah.
I'm not putting that on one individual, and Bobby Brown. But guys are going to get better. You hope they better get better. I want to say that in the fourth quarter, but 85 of those rushing yards, 85 of them, they had 220 something.
Yep.
So 85, about a third, if my math works, 85 came in the fourth quarter.
I've seen worse from A&M in openers. I saw worse this weekend from teams that were supposed to be good. I saw worse this weekend from a team that's supposed to be great. But they're fortunate they were playing Kent State. And not, look, I'm convinced again after watching it, if they play like that up at Colorado, it's going to be a really tough game. And I'm not acting like Colorado doesn't have issues or that A&M doesn't have more, talent to bring to the field than the Buffs do, and they certainly do. But the Aggies are going to have to make a big week 1 to week 2 jump. But after rewatching the game, I also felt like that's absolutely doable. You know, you just saw mistakes that were game one type of mistakes, and I thought Kent State, they're a pretty good team. They're not. I mean, I don't know who they'd beat in the SEC. Obviously, Vandy, but I mean, heck, if Kent State would have played Arkansas on Saturday, they'd beaten them.
Yeah,
the way Arkansas played against Rice, I don't think Louisiana Tech's going to run Kent State out of the stadium. And Louisiana Tech came to missed a field goal on the final play to beat Mississippi State. So it's not. I don't want to overhype them, but I also don't want to, undervalue them. I said yesterday, this was the toughest opener A&M's played under Jimbo, which isn't saying much, but it was, and they won 41-10, and it was over 2.5 quarters in. So I don't want to nitpick too much, but what I'm doing today is kind of, when I rewatched it, I'm going, okay, moving forward, and I saw they need to get certain guys back is one thing I felt.
I cannot wait to see what he can do with this defense and what it does for Marv, everybody, having him out there.
Yeah, no, he's got the potential. Like, he left last year at 4.5 sacks in 4.5 games. He got hurt in Game 5 against Arkansas, 4.5 sacks. He was very active early in the season. He was having his best year. If there's a guy with potential for double-digit sacks on this team, it's he or Tyree. And I think as the tandem, they could do that. He's a big deal. 6-year guys don't grow on trees, and guys that look like him don't come around too much during the course of a season. So these linemen that are going up against guys they don't see, they're not going to come out there very often and see Clemens and Leal. You got the first-round pick, and you got a guy that looks like a first-round pick, and in some ways he's got the physical traits, that length, those long arms, the strength that he's got for such a long, not thin, but very athletically built guy. You got a guy that's probably a top 5 pick, and you got another one that looks like a top 5 pick that is a much better player today than he was last year and certainly a couple of years ago. I remember one of my friends, and we'd talk about it, and I always got the feeling they kind of were like, is Clemens still starting? Is that, we don't got anybody that can beat him out, kind of that type thing. I was like, first of all, he was kind of if he started, it was a rotation guy. Then as his career has gone on, all the guy's done is he's gotten better each year. If you have that kind of talent and you get better each year, is he twitchy like Myles Garrett or Deshaun Hall? No. It's not his strength. That's why he won't be the number 1 pick. That's why he might not go in the top couple rounds, but he's on track to get drafted. He's a really good SEC defensive lineman, and he's a damn good player for this A&M defense, so he will make a difference if he's back out there. It'd be a pretty significant add for the Aggies. And I think the other significant add for the Aggies will be the more and more Shamar Turner's playing. I think later in the year, I don't know who starts, who doesn't, but Peavy, Shamar Turner, and McKinley, kind of your 3 dudes in there. And I think Peavy, again, you go back to that kind of everything we just said about Clemens. But then you go McKinley. If there are times when you go Clemens, McKinley, Shamar, and Leal, I mean, that's 3 guys that were right there at that 5-star level. Yeah. 2 of them were. The third one was right there. Those are 3 guys that could play. Name the program that you think is really good, Georgia, Alabama, whatever, whoever you think plays the best defense. They could all play there. They're all going to play in the NFL. And then you have a guy in Clemens. I mean, that is a stout defensive front whenever McKinley's back, which should be pretty soon here, really soon, and whenever Shamar kind of starts to step into his own. But outside of, Haynes and the offense, got to clean up that turnover thing for sure. But what did you see from the team where you go, all right, they're definitely going to have to get better in that area? Or was it just in general, did you look at it and see that looks like a team playing their season opener and it took them until about midway through the second quarter to just get rolling?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the biggest difference I take. And I kind of, when I look at it, it's hard to compare, right? Because you get punch drunk on these teams playing inferior opponents right off the bat.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, all right, well, what do I really have, right? You can take whatever and extract whatever information you want. But I go back and look at it going, all right, if there were times that A&M looked sloppy, why do I turn on the tape and look at Alabama and from the absolute get-go, boom, they
Yeah.
just against a much better opponent, and they don't miss a beat, right? It's just flawless execution. It just goes to show you the level that that Nick Saban has Alabama clicking at, and that Jimbo's trying to close that gap, right? I mean, he's trying to close it in the fact of like, hey, when we turn on the tape, it's not we kind of look, this, like that doesn't happen, right? I mean, it's not as if Haynes has it's not like he had or Bryce Young had a million different games underneath his belt and he should look a whole lot better, but yet the offense did, so and they just continue to look good. So I mean, again, everything I look at A&M this year and the expectation level for Jimbo and what he set, to his credit, I don't compare it against the rest of the SEC. I compare it to Alabama, right? Like you're paid to be the gold standard in college football. The expectations are be the gold standard. So I'm naturally each and every week, I'm not comparing them to LSU or Ole Miss or Mississippi State or Arkansas. I'm comparing them to how Alabama looked, and there's still a gap in week one.
Well, Richard's got a nice new gray shirt. I'm a little jealous of it. I'm hoping they find me one. We can probably buy these on the website, I assume, TexAgs.com. We're assuming here. We don't have firsthand knowledge.
You know what they say when you assume?
To subscribe and and comment and all that good stuff.
Exactly.
That's exactly what they say. Thank you guys for watching. Like it, subscribe, comment, and watch all of our other content, including this guy doing some stuff. Thank you.